In the top left, in the yellow, the last chance and representation for China and the Scourge is 1-2-0. And the bottom right, from South Korea, the guy that everybody's sleeping on, can he make it to the finals and give a nice little present to his newborn son? From South Korea is FoCuS. I think strategic choices here are going to be a really big deal. In the first couple of minutes of the game already, we have seen from the Undeads trying to get ready against the Farseer Headhunters a lot of different approaches. We have seen Ghoul builds, we have seen Cryptlord builds, we have seen Ted Fiend Standard, which is also the opening here. And nothing really seems to be the perfect answer against Farseer Headhunters, although it seems like most top Undeads nowadays have gone back to the standard, which is the Ted Fiend build, with 3 ghouls, fast tech into fiends. We see that from Happy all the time, and also quite a bit from 1-2-0. The good thing for Orc here in this matchup is Farseer Headhunters works against everything. Works against ghoul builds, works against expansion, works against Ted Fiends as well. Blade Master in this matchup seems to be a lot more risky to play nowadays, because especially against Cryptlord expansion, Blade Master can have some serious problems. But Farseer Headhunters, as we've seen plenty of times over the last couple of months, works against basically everything, with the exception of Night Elf, of course. And that, of course, also means that FoCuS probably going to play this whole series. I would expect, honestly, Farseer Headhunter every single game.
And to any viewer not familiar with what Ted Fiends is, it's just a fast Death Knight into Fiends later on. So you get the graveyard a little later, but at least you have your hero out on the map quickly. For a while, it seemed like the build order of choice for some Undeads, I guess before the strategy was fully explored. If you knew you were going to face Farseer Headhunter, you would just go straight Fiends. So your Death Knight would be delayed, but you would be getting Fiends way earlier, so that you could creep with them and already kind of have your composition. But that kind of fell out of fashion, yeah, as you mentioned. And nowadays, there's almost always a fast Death Knight for the early game creeping, especially since the World of Necromancy change was reverted, because, you know, they reload quicker. So you can use a lot of these Kellys to start leveling early instead of falling behind in terms of experience.
This is a great creep up by 1-2-0 right here. It's very standard for the Farseer to go to the middle. Oh, big last hit. Whew. That would have been a big deal. To go to the middle, try to creep the 2 greens, get level 2, Chain Lightning, and then try to pressure or power creep beyond that. 1-2-0 just sniped the item, which was the mantle, and then fell back to his other camp, getting perfectly level 2 there, and getting perfect items as well. Mantle and Circlet, exactly what he wanted. Seems like 1-2-0 shows up here, prepared for the first map, did his homework, and had a very good opening build.
Yeah, when 1-2-0 said in the interview, it's a secret, like how I deal with Headhunters, I didn't start picturing, you know, like a Panda second that he's gonna power creep to level 5 or something crazy. I think it was just the answer that you give when you don't want to reveal what it is you've realized you need to be doing, which sometimes is just going to be, you know, a slightly different timing, a slightly unusual power spikes that you didn't understand before when you're going to want to look for that fight, for example. So I'm curious to see exactly how he goes about, like, when does he start fighting? Because at times it feels like 1-2-0 just flows really well against Orc, like he's just creeping a lot of the time, but then he takes the fights when he needs to, and it's never really forced. It doesn't go across the map and he's like, no, fight me now. No, it's a lot of the time, it just feels like he's just kind of creeping up until he meets the opponent and then just doesn't really decline to fight for the most part.
Oh my god. Sorry to cut you off there. Are you seeing this DK inventory? That's 4 perfect items in a row. That's ridiculous. Look at this DK's mana pool. 520. Yeah.
The Farseer got greater mana though. Yeah,
it's also good. He's gonna have to spam a lot of wolves to get some value out of this one. In the DK now, he can bully like crazy with his high mana pool. Maybe not the right choice for FoCuS to play this early game so slow, so passive.
Oh my god, there was 4 more cores a second ago. He's still got 3 more. He's going for the Farseer. He's gonna force the TP.
Going for a very fast tier 3 over here, thinking about a Dark Ranger perhaps. But the Fiend's getting bullied away from the middle. 1-2-0 was playing mostly Lich second for a long time against the Headhunters. But especially Happy has been playing a lot of Dark Ranger, and we know that 1-2-0 does get inspired by Happy quite a bit. I mean, how can you not? And there we go. Dark Ranger comes out. More coils, more kills.
And there's going to be skellies coming out as well. They can keep on targeting those down. Move back the DK here for a little bit for some reason. I think he's about to coil one more time. Wants to make sure he gets the skelly out of this one. One more hit, the coil, and that would be... Oh, he goes for another one.
What?
He wants both of them, Remo.
That's a bit greedy. Sometimes when you try to get two things at the same time, you get neither. But he's feeling ambitious. And I guess I can't blame him too much.
Your nights out?
Oh. Well, you know, I would have a story to tell here, but this is a PG-13 stream, so I will leave that one out for now. And yeah, indeed, he didn't quite get either of them here. But still, it was a total of 3 headhunter kills, which is pretty good. Could have been worse, honestly, for FoCuS. Could have been a lot worse.
Still the cup half full guy. I love it. Yeah, FoCuS now with going for tier 3 is gonna want to add Kodos for the extra damage. You can also start mixing in some raiders to make sure you can catch those fiends down on the map and force the fights. It's so effective, this style of, like, you know, the top undeads, they'll always fight when they have a lot of mana on the DK. Use all of it, and then as the Death Knight is missing a lot of hit points and mana, they just fall back and go into creeping mode. Let those hit points replenish, let the mana replenish as well, thanks to statue, which will be added later on. He can't pick up the item? Okay. He needs to get that. And a second. Oh my god, this Death Knight is absurd.
Honestly, from this camp, you get 3 out of 4 good items, so it's a fairly high chance. He hasn't gotten any claws, but when the Lich comes out, I could see all these mana items being given over. There is a consideration that maybe it's better on the DK to give him more mana for coil, but that's why he has the mana pendant as well.
Oh my god, like, he dropped everything, he used the mana pots, and he's back at 275 mana. That's so crazy.
Ain't no problem at all here for 120. The only little hitch with this build is that the third hero comes out very late. Lich only starting now, compared, you know, to normally a Dark Ranger, which is they are a lot quicker on tier 3. But the strong thing with this is that the Dark Ranger can level up quickly, and if she gets to level 3, she might be arguably better than a Lich level 3. Because she has silence against the TC who tries to run in a stomp, and she has level 2 Dark Minions, aka, you know, Black Arrow, which is insanely strong against headhunters. You can snowball really quickly, really hard, and then take over the fight in an extended engagement, where of course also statues help you out a lot. Aggressive creepjack here by FoCuS.
He's gonna TP. Yeah, I think a Zep would be too risky now that the headhunters were on top of these units. The Fiends is actually gonna fall. Kodo maybe could have grabbed another one. A little bit slow here on this. And yeah, we got the Shadow Hunter about to come out. War drums being researched. This is usually the time where if FoCuS does 1 or 2 more camp, maybe the lab next, he can easily be able to afford the tiny Great Hall. He'll drop that down, and then that will put all the pressure in the world on 120 to do something about it.
Now, my memory isn't the best, Todd, as you may know. Did I forget that the Farseer TP'd out at some point? Or did he sell the TP?
You know what? My memory is worse than yours. I'm gonna go back and... Oh yeah, he TP'd, he was being coiled right where he's standing now, actually. He was getting chased.
Ah, yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
Oh
yeah,
my god.
was running after him. Oh my god, we are such boomers. LOL. Alright. Next item. This is starting to get ridiculous, by the way. Big mana potion from the turtle camp. 120 with some insane drops. But he doesn't have quite that strong of an army yet. That one fiend loss did hurt him. As we can see here, the Orc army already at 50 supply. Headhunter is pretty cheap, as we know. Focus on the TC right away. Cyclone up in the air. Next stomp against the Lich could be dangerous. Hex as well. Very good control here. Very good hero focus by the Orc. Trying to reach with the coil. Oh my god, last second save. That was a crucial moment. Going for the Farseer now, and he doesn't have the TP anymore. Farseer goes down. FoCuS overextending, trying to go for the hero kill, suffering in return. 120 realizing the heal wave is super low level. In fact, we don't even have heal wave yet. Gets 1 hero kill. Oh my god, the TC gets away on 10 HP. A bit of luck there as well coming in. And now the Headhunter is caught in the back. They're getting sniped 1 by 1. Dark Ranger close to level 3. Sort of. But the DK gets level 4 first. It's going to be Aura for him, I guess, on the chase now. Looking for more kills, and he's getting plenty of those. One after the next going down. Yeah,
that Lich, so insane. Plus 15 damage. The Death Knight left the mana pen on him. He also got Potion of Greater Mana, so he can get so much mana back here before fighting again. And that's
Clause +9. Clause +9. Oh, the first bad item of the game. Rigged. Sorry.
Oh, Well, he scouted a little bit with it, you know. I mean, at this point, it feels like it doesn't even matter so much anymore. FoCuS in shambles here. He's having to remake FoCuS from scratch. I don't think he can really afford the instant revive here without expansion. TC getting nuked from afar. That's because the Death Knight has so much mana here with that mana pendant and greater mana. Like if you don't go down to 0 mana, you drop the pendant of energy and use the greater mana. Then you pick up the pendant of energy. How much mana do you have?
I think like 350, I would expect.
Way too much. That's how much, Remo.
It's pretty good. Going for the shop and a bit of safety, TP, invuln, and heal scroll. That was pretty expensive, but this fight was so good for 1-0. He may not have lost anything, right? Did he lose anything? There was a target fire on the Lich, but he saved the Lich, and then FoCuS was suffering the consequences. 1-0 now with a huge lead. Would kind of expect him to be expanding behind this, but he's not doing that. He's just pumping out more units, even bringing the ghouls from the main, and creeping up more. Dark Ranger gonna get level 3. That's a huge level up. He's gonna get another big consumable here.
1-0 is reading the game really well right now. He knows that there's still a bit of a timer on the FoCuS, so he had time to fully engage into those turtles. So that's what he's gonna do. And after that, the question is, does he want to push, or does he want to go to the top right-hand side to try and clear the red camp? We got rune bracers for the TC. Well, he's gonna need that at least. And on the other side, Scroll of the Beast was picked up on the Death Knight.
Really played by FoCuS. He doesn't have reinforced defenses, which means these burrows are made of paper. However, he is close to the main. Gonna have to come back here to defend. 1-0's position at the start of the fight, not that great. Statue exposed right away. By the way, he misclicked the invuln earlier. Doesn't have that invuln now anymore. The heroes might be in trouble. Silence coming through. Shadowhunter getting focused right away. Coil Nova, he's dead. With this army, you don't have Dispel, so Silence extremely effective in the DPS of the Fiend backline army. Also very impressive with that Scroll of the Beast. Chain Lightning coming through, that paired with a Stomp, finding some decent kills. TC in trouble, once again getting clicked down. No heal for him. The healer has died first. If he was a WoW raider, he would be kicked out of next Monday's raid. He would be losing some DPK points. I think they're not called DPK points, but you guys know what I mean. Watch the tail, watch the tail! As FoCuS now is gonna die to Onyxia in the cave. Long range coil! And Nova! Almost finding the kill. Those rune bracers putting in work, but I think at this point it's just too much of a deficit. Kodo Beast being allowed to live. 1-0 is a merciful god. He doesn't have the same amount of piercings in his face that Xerxes does, but he's looking quite similar in that regard.
Neil! He goes for the burrows, and it doesn't feel like there's much FoCuS can do. I think he's gonna try to buy invul. That's the one thing he was really missing here in that fight for his TC, but even the Shadow just got blown up perfectly. 1-0 known for his macro. That timing on the silence was beautiful. And that Death Knight, I mean, is that 40 death cards in the whole game that he's already thrown? It feels like an absurd amount. TC actually gonna dodge the first death card here. Is there still hope for FoCuS? He still has the greater mana on the FoCuS. Definitely needs to use that for some Chain Lightning. Try and kill those units ASAP.
Yeah, that's been surviving well for a long time, but not quite. Oh, he almost was out for the heat wave, but it's only level 1 heat wave anyways. It doesn't really matter. GG is called. FoCuS loses the first game after 1-0 had pretty much a perfect map one.
How can you not love every encounter between 1-0 and FoCuS, man? What a beauty of a game. And of course, we have to talk about the items because they were very ridiculous for 1-0. But this might be the first time in the tournament where I would say, yep, that's his peak. The coils were on point, the positioning was most of the times okay. He was a little greedy at times, but never too greedy. This is scary for the rest of the day if things continue like this.
Yeah, very nicely done here by him. Also a bit weird by FoCuS. Like, sometimes you want to trade level 3 for level 3, but not really with Farseer versus DK. If you can drain a lot of mana out of the DK first, then it makes sense, because you're very mana efficient on tier 2 with Wolves, whereas the opponent, if he only has few coils, you can take that fight. But if you're not harassing the Death Knight at all, and he gets to level 3 with full mana, and especially with some good items, you're gonna have a tough time. And then, as he gave the DK level 3, then he was still in the middle of the map with the Headhunters, exposing them next to the tavern where he knew the Dark Ranger was gonna be coming. So, really not the best play by FoCuS at all, to be honest. I can Forgive it though, on this map. This was a perfect level 3 creep route. I have never seen that one by 120 before. Snipe the item, go to the orange, get level 2, over to the green, next orange, boom, you get 4 items in level 3. Really cool. I was not aware of this one, and maybe FoCuS wasn't either. But yeah, I think you have to play it more aggressively than this. You don't just want to let that DK build up so much on mana and items, as we saw. Problems are gonna arise.
Yeah, this was the first map that FoCuS has lost the entire game, and it was pretty clear that 120 was ready. This was also one of 120's maps, so maybe he prepared the special creep routes on the 2 maps he picked, Tidehunters and Echo Isles. Can you prepare like 5 maps in one day? Kind of skeptical about that. I gotta say, the execution by FoCuS was mostly pretty good when it came to fights, like Invo Potion during Coil is flying, the retreats and stuff. That was top notch. So if you can fix the early game, we're in for a treat here.
Yeah, maybe
it was mostly good. I wouldn't say it was perfect though, but like that hero focus on the ledge was way overcommitted. He dove like through the entire undead army trying to get the kill. I can understand that he felt confident. He had Wand of the Wind and Hex and Stomp. That's a lot of control, but 120 did it really well. And especially going for that crazy dive without a TP, that's very risky, and that cost him the game.
Actually, it's borderline outrageous that he didn't get that lich, by the way. Like, Wand of the Wind, like, he committed everything that he had and still didn't get it. That was the game-losing moment, almost. I mean, of course, I think he was behind before that because he was losing Headhunters left and right in the early game, was forced to town portal out. But yeah, not getting that lich was really terrible for him.
All right, then let's see if FoCuS can bounce back. It's a 1-0 lead, but it's a long series ahead of us. Hopefully, at least. Our next map is Amazonia. That is FoCuS's pick, and I wouldn't mind to have this series tied up, but it's of course a very different map, so let's see what happens now.
All right, it's going to be a very different map indeed. Tidehunters, one of the newer maps, and a very big one as well. Here, Amazonia has been the pool for a long time. This one has been figured out easily for a long while, and it's much, much smaller. Honestly, there's not too much to figure out on this map. It's pretty straightforward. You got a lab, you can instantly creep level 2 if you want. There's a couple of camps on the outskirts, and we have some smaller camps in the middle. Especially here, where it's easier to pressure the opponent, I would like to see FoCuS be a lot more aggro. If you put pressure on the DK right away, if you drop down his HP low and you force a lot of coils out of him, the tier 2 pressure with the Dark Ranger is going to be a lot less scary. So I would love to see a Peon Scout maybe, figure out where the DK is early, and attack him with a Farseer instantly before he gets level 2. Once you got level 2 and the Aura, things for the Undead get a lot easier. But with this Farseer strategy, you can start pressuring even before that on level 1 already.
Yeah, competing for the center here can be very important. These Kobold camps in particular, like, you know, it's always like the race for all the items. So yeah, the creep route's gonna be very important. It looked like 120 has done his research on exactly how to counter the standard creep routes from Orc, and that's what really started to put him ahead last game, on top of, you know, of course, the really good items that he got as well. But it was well researched. On Amazonia, I'm sure it's like similar as well, where he knows what creep route to expect. We already see the Acolyte in position up there to make things happen, Remo, just like you're the night out again.
Absolutely. And we see a Grunt here early. This Grunt is added in because FoCuS wants to creep the first 2 camps here at the start. 120 aware of this, brings in the Acolyte, is going to harass and wants to prevent the Lightning Shield creep. And this is again a little exchange going to 120 because the DK is creeping up in the meantime, especially if FoCuS doesn't manage to get this Renegade Wizard creep. But he will. There we go, Lightning Shield applied. He's going to take some damage here. 120 comes over with the item that he just picked up, which is another Mantle, by the way. And the last hit does go to the Farseer. Looked a little scary there with the Lightning Shield. Flies.
Oh my god.
Steals the claws!
And he's gonna get the creep as well.
Big mistake by FoCuS. Oh my goodness. This is a disaster.
And
if one hit on him dies, this DK is level 2 already.
The Acolyte got out with 3 hit points, by the way. He just made it back home. He's chilling there now on Blight. Replenishing hit points way quicker. 120 is running the show today.
Yeah, looking really, really good. Not picking up the claws. That is pretty rough. Finds the slippers now on the Farseer, getting close to level 2. But isn't even gonna get it from the first 2 camps, which is the whole reason why you play this opening. To get level 2 quickly. DK gets level 2 here, however, first. Has 2 coils left. And now we're competing for that middle.
120 swapped the injured Acolyte into the gold mines to send a full HP one out on the map for a little bit of extra vision. This is really cool. I mean, of course, right now he sees where FoCuS is, but there's always some scenarios where like you could lose track of him eventually, and that Acolyte would help out with that. Even though right now, that's an Acolyte in combat mode over here.
Yeah, 120 knows he has the faster tech, and he's gonna have the faster second hero. So he wants to slow down as much as he can, prevent the Farseer from creeping up too much more, and just sit here, poke, and buy time until tier 2 and the Dark Ranger. And then finally, he's gonna grab some map control, because of course, as far as damage goes, FoCuS has way more right now, with the Wolves, the Headhunters, and even the Grunt in here. So 120 trying to slow down everything at this point.
The Acolyte might finally go down here. Took a big chase and commitment here to finally get this guy out of there. But this almost helps 120, right? Because he doesn't have the third Zig. So if he had kept the Acolyte alive, he would have been on 26 out of 30. Then he wouldn't be able to get a second hero. Whereas now, his tech's about to finish. And FoCuS, it's like he's zoning him out on purpose. He's staying in the center, knowing that about perhaps the timing here of this Dark Ranger coming in now would be very scary. So he goes for the pull on the Kobold. There's still a coil. There's also a chain lighting. Zoning the DK out. If he commits to it, I think that might be a steal. But he has a lot of damage. Oh, he goes for the chain lighting to make sure he gets it.
Yeah, nicely done by FoCuS. Had to do that. The experience is too important. But that means Farseer, no mana anymore. Like, even resummoning Wolves here is going to be a little tricky. Once they're not going for the Dark Ranger yet.
Oh my
Lord!
God.
Excuse
What
me?
trick is this?
Wait a minute. I've never seen that before.
He went cleave first. Yeah, I mean, he already has 1 claw. I talked about it. On this map, there is a lot of items in the center you can collect. Ideally, you want to find damage. Maybe that's the plan. Just get the decked out
Oh my god.
Pit
Oh my
Lord
god.
to cleave
Temple.
away at everything.
He's going for Unholy Frenzy Pit Lord.
A player's forces are under attack.
So he did have a secret strategy. After all.
All right, boys. That is the secret sauce, if you will.
Can
And
you even
that
read
is-
into this if you're FoCuS here? I don't think, like, you see Pit Lord, you're probably thinking, okay, well, he's gonna go tier 3. He's gonna get Lich 3rd. And this is just gonna be for extra damage. Like, ideally, he would like to see the Temple of the Dam, so maybe there is some adjustment that he can make. But he's just going for the same as before here with the Bestiary in tier 3.
And now he sees it. Normally, the strongest thing that Orc can do if the Undead doesn't go tier 3 is Spirit Link. Spirit Link is super strong. The only problem with it is, normally Destroyers kind of get rid of it easily and benefit from it. But if the Undead doesn't go tier 3, no Destroyer, so Spirit Link could be great. But that is not really a possibility here for FoCuS at the moment. He's going tier 3, he's got his TC out, gonna start solo creeping and get him quickly up to level 2 right away.
How about Torrents?
I mean, on paper, might be good. But yeah, this is something new. Haven't seen this in a long time. I'm not sure if it's gonna work. We'll find out, I guess. Pit Lord, Circlets, not that good for him, I guess.
Yeah, Glover faced a brilliant pickup as well here to hit a little bit quicker. And I'm guessing that it's going to be comboed with All of Terror. A secondary spell. And yeah, 1 single Necromancer is now on the way. 120. He's supposed to creep till Crypt Lord gets level 3 here to get Cleave level 2, and then we can start fighting a lot more.
He also needs to get DK level 3. It's of course going to be very important for the coil. What's his follow-up though in the mid game? Like, he's obviously not going tier 3. So there's 2 options. Either push all in with towers or expand on tier 2. And I have no idea what it's supposed to be.
I think it's probably going to go to 50 supply, attack, and then tech to tier 3 at the same time to then add Lich later on, perhaps.
A player's forces
for the
are
pull.
under attack.
DC almost level 3 on the other side. Look at this. He's leaving the wolves down there. This is so beautifully done by FoCuS. So he's still creeping with just the wolves. Torrent Chieftain, just a few experience away from level 3. And he has Wand of Illusion as well to send that guy in. And
Alright,
Frosty
here
was
we
buying
go.
time.
Gonna have the first big fight. We don't see Unholy Frenzy yet. It's very good on the Pit Lord. It's also really good on Fiends, by the way.
It's good on everything, man.
Is it though?
Have you ever seen Unholy Frenzied Frostworms?
I'm not sure that I have. I mean, in eer0 Siege, sure, but don't watch eer0 stream too much. Alright, in we go. Purge coming in now. Oh, the creeps purge the Pit Lord. I was wondering where's the purge coming from. But look at the cleave. Okay, cleave is starting to stack up. Is there a heal scroll for FoCuS? No, there isn't. So there's a timer here on how long you can stay in this fight. And this
Oh my
Pit
God.
Lord is
He's
cleaving
wrecking
away.
him.
He's doing a lot of damage.
And the shadow
What is-
wasn't there. This was a terrible timing to fight, I think.
Players'
Or
forces are under attack.
FoCuS. It's being
Yeah.
forced back.
And he goes Hex first.
Oh my God, no.
No heal wave. I guess he's trying... Oh my god, and we have Banshees now coming in as well. It's a weird choice. There's no Blade Master here to curse. It takes a lot of curse to curse the entire Orc army. Going for the DK now. Heavy focus on the first hero. Invul Potion transferred. Nicely done before the Hex. Aggressive coil against the TC, but he had a heal potion as well. Healing up with that once again. FoCuS
Dude,
trying to
that
go for the hero
experience.
kill. Oh, he misses the stomp. Big mistake.
Look at that,
Yes, the
that
Hex.
attack speed. From the... Oh, my God.
Shadowhunter goes down.
He attacks so fast.
Oh my goodness, what the hell is this? Double Temple by 120, Tier 2 Double Temple.
You realize what that means, by the way, for the ladder, right? You know how many players are gonna try to do this build and crash and burn and lose horribly?
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. I know I would mess it up. Dark Ranger, not easier to play, but it seems like FoCuS is just lost in the woods. He doesn't know what to do. He's going into the fight without a heal scroll, which is a huge mistake. Against the Pit Lord, you need a heal scroll. I don't care what kind of army you have, you need a heal scroll. And then, it's kind of the same as game 1. He tries to go for the hero kill, this time on the DK. He misses it, and now he's super far behind. Now he goes for the totem. I think he should have done that way earlier.
There's no town portal for 120, so maybe some hero target, but the Death Knight has invuln, there's a health potion as well on the Pit Lord that could be easily transferred. Perhaps he's not going for the burrow, but I think he knows that he's about to be engaged into anyway. Look at its attack speed by the Pit Lord. This guy's just wrecking everything.
Great damage mitigation also against these Berserkers. Oh, good stomp. That one connected very nicely. Taking out some of these Necros. That means more skeletons coming in now. And these skeletons, honestly, are a bit of a problem to deal with for the Orc. Again, no Dispel. Seems like that's the big issue here for FoCuS in this game. He just doesn't have Dispel.
We could all use a little bit extra dispel. The TC is gonna go down. Oh my god. Uses the invuln at the last second here. That's the small invuln, so not gonna last too long. He's gonna pop the salve immediately. Trying to heal on his tri-hero. Kodo trying to make it out of there. Make it away.
Wow.
Get in the
Crazy
Pit
game.
Lord. He wants blood.
I have never seen this strat before against this style. It's working out really well right now. I'm trying to think of counters on the Orc side. Can't really come up with one right away. Maybe Wind Riders, but hard to tell. And FoCuS getting caught off guard, like I am as well, and most other people would be. 120 once again showing his strategic brilliance. That he hasn't been able to display too much as of late, it seems, but here showing up at the perfect time in DreamHack fall. Seems like he should be winning this game, but this is still a tier 3 Orc. If these hero levels get stronger for FoCuS, it could turn around as well. He's got the tier 3 advantage. He's got the triple hero advantage. But he's just not getting the levels and great items yet. He's got double level 3, but that doesn't seem to be good enough.
Yeah, 120's micro really good as well. Always putting the Pit Lord wherever he would cleave away a lot of these units. Fast here, in danger here. FoCuS is going to be forced to tap out, and 120 goes up 2-0.
What did we just witness? The Necromancer plays a frenzied Pit Lord second. Yo, nobody was ready for that. That man did a lot of damage in these fights. Unbelievable. But I gotta agree with Remo. If you see a temple, you gotta go for Dispel. How do you expect to win against Necros and all these spells without Dispel? It doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? You keep saying the Necromancer as well, and earlier when you were saying it, I was just thinking, like, how is this guy's named the Necromancer? He never ever goes Necromancers. And then the very next game, he does it.
That Pit Lord, by the way, did 11,000 damage throughout this map. That's a lot. For example, like, in comparison, the DK did 3k damage, including all the coils. Oh my god, dude, what a game. Wait a second. What did the
The
fuck?
Pit Lord is an interesting hero. Like, just numerically, he can ramp up like crazy. He doesn't have those big impact spells. Doesn't have Stomp or Slow or Nova, you know, no AoE kind of crowd control. But if he's just standing there, just swinging away, and he can just stand and deliver, he's gonna rack up some damage.
Absolutely.
Yeah, his cleave ignores armor, that's the thing. So it just can clear away a lot of this army, and it's perfect against a lot of things that, you know, will clump up, because the cleave just starts hitting everything. And in this case, all of Terror is such a perfect second spell as well, because Headhunters, they're reliant on like their super high damage, and now you kind of negate that perfectly.
Oh man, FoCuS against the ropes. He is used to situations like these. When he won next winter, he was in a situation like this, and he has had some strong comebacks and reverse sweeps before, but I gotta say, 1-2-0 is looking like a beast today. And let's see if he can clean sweep this semi-final. 2-0 lead. We'll be back in 3 minutes. We're back at DreamHack and we're getting closer to a two-time finalist. 1-0, just one map away from getting his shot at the second DreamHack title in his career. And it's looking really, really, really good, man. How do you stop this beast? I mean, Amazonia was FoCuS' map and it looks like 1-0 is just living there his entire life.
Yeah, just excellent homework by 1-0, I think, is what's doing this. This is looking foggy-esque. Perfect creep route and gameplay on map number 1. Super unexpectable curveball on map 2, which turns out to be a pretty good strategy, maybe. And now going into map 3 with a 2-point lead. And third map being Echo Isles means if he's feeling really confident, which I guess he is, he might even be going for Cryptid expansion. A strategy that's very, very hard to pull off against Farsi Headhunters. But as we saw, 1-0 is looking pretty damn impressive today.
Yeah, FoCuS not so much, and it kind of looks like it. This is not the jolly smiling FoCuS that we've seen in the group stage, and yesterday looks a little concerned that if we look at the result, there's a good reason for that. Holy, what a 1-0 we've seen today. Still a shot.
Battery low.
We have had a lot of momentum swings in this, not in this tournament, but in the WarCraft scene recently. So can he do it again? It's gonna be a gigantic task, but nothing's impossible in WarCraft. So let's see where this goes, or if we get our first finalist already.
On map number 3, another old classic. Just like Amazonia was, now we are on Echo Isles, has been in the map pool for a long time. These players will know what to do, will know what to expect. But 1-0 has been quite unpredictable here today, so hard for FoCuS to know exactly what to expect. And third game, third time, different build. Well, I guess the opening builds in 1 and 2 were the same, but now we have a different opening build. The Fast Fiend opening for 1-0. Which was the playstyle that Undeads used to play many moons, many years ago against Orc, was rotated out at some point, but it turns out that especially against Farsi Headhunters, it can be pretty good, and that is the strategy again from FoCuS. As FoCuS is the much more predictable player here, going for Farsi Headhunter every single game.
Yeah, we saw on maps like Amazonia or Tidehunters previously, where you have a lot of very small camps where you can collect items. It makes sense to open with a very fast Death Knight to collect some of these items and get a perfectly decked out DK with 500 plus mana pool. But on Echo Isle, that doesn't really exist here. There is only so few green camps. One of them is just, this tome that nobody wants to pick up anyway or ever does. There is the camp at the top, yes, but I think by opening like this, he's just gonna be getting to fiends quicker, and yes, like it's gonna take a little bit longer to start leveling that DK, but once you have like 3 fiends, you can start working on maybe the 12 o'clock marketplace and all that, and he's maybe hoping as well that we're seeing an aggressive Farseer, which means that the Orc won't even be leveling himself, whereas if he knew what the build was, perhaps FoCuS would have started creeping himself.
A player's forces
Yeah, and it's
are
very
under attack.
surprising. You mentioned a lot of really good points here. If you know it's Fast Fiends, you can't pressure them right away. This is why we saw Fast Fiends being played again. If the Farseer starts harassing you in level 1 and you only have DK and 2 skeletons, you're gonna take a lot of damage. It's gonna be very painful, but here, you're gonna have 2 Fiends and a Death Knight out right away. And there's not really much that FoCuS can do here at all. He sent out a peon, just looking for the enemy's movement. He didn't even look at the build, which is very strange. If he had seen the build, he could have just gone for creeping, as you suggested, which would have been quite a bit better. And also a big point that you brought up, the middle, the marketplace. The only way to contest this item, which is perhaps the biggest item on the map, is if you play Fast Fiends. And yeah, FoCuS not starting off this game too hot, but if the DK can't level, it's still all fine, I suppose.
Yeah, he actually used one of the cores here on one of the acolytes. He wanted to make sure that there was no gold being lost. Didn't want to have to pull that off the line against the 2 walls, the 2 initial walls. So he actually coiled that for the XP. Not quite. Saving all of his mana. I like that better, I would say, probably. I'd definitely be that guy overreacting if I was 1-0, just coiling every wolf. And then like mid-air, you just resummons. I'm like, I hate this.
1-0 playing this very patient. Not worried about taking this game very slow. Going for a safe, narrow tower as well. Seems like he has found his flow. Trying now to get the item. 2 more swings and a coil will be enough. He's taking some punishment here, taking some damage, but does get the item in the end, dropping down to 300 HP. That's okay, I guess. Also 1-0 with a fairly fast tech.
Oh, the Headhunter.
On 20 supply. Normally with this build we see a 3 Fiend tech, but he says 2 Fiends is enough. Don't need more. Want a fast level up.
And now that FoCuS already has 6 Headhunters, he can be the one starting to threaten here this top camp, which if you're 1-0, I don't think you can do anything else than just be on top of him and not let that fully happen. Oh my god, he
still
stole
lost
it.
it.
No.
With the Fiends. And that's definitely a mistake by FoCuS. He walked away with his Headhunters. And every last hit here is so important, which is why he's using the coil. Oh, but 1-0 misses that one. Okay. Slight error also by 1-0 being displayed. Level 2 here is a huge deal, especially for the undead to get the aura.
Yeah, the Death Knight took a lot of damage because the Bloodlusted Trapper here kept attacking him and he didn't quite pull the aggro like you can do by attacking one of your own units. So Death Knight being this low here, very dangerous. FoCuS easily could work a little bit more on the creeps, get level 2 and threaten that even more and fully push it back. And it kind of feels like FoCuS might be winning the top position, the top camp fight here as 1-0 picks up a new Rod of Necromancy here.
And also the Ritual Dagger, which is a very nice use right now. Healing up all those fiends at the same time. Tried to send a skeleton to the middle to get the Dark Ranger, but it expired just at the worst time. As now, tier 2 is finished. 1-0 sending over the next Skelly into the middle, but it's going to take a little bit longer. Again, contesting for this middle camp. The Dark Ranger, if she shows up, should be able to secure this camp for the undead.
The DK solo gets level 2. There's still one coil to say that one Fiend here is going to go for it. Where's the Dark Ranger? He gets a Pit Lord again.
Pit Lord again. Even with this build, it's a Pit Lord. All right.
There's no coil. This should be an easy Magi for FoCuS if he goes for it, but now Big Daddy Pit Lord is in the center of the map. Uses all of Terror.
Forces are under attack.
And I guess the Magi might go to 1-0. Oh, he's chasing the Orc. This is perfect. He could just target it down. FoCuS, a little bit hesitant. PC showing up now.
He's got a coil if he wants to use it. Oh, greedy. Not going for it. Last hit. I think 1-0 got it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Pit Lord's 46 XP. Oh my god, he gets that one as well. All right. 1-0 is styling right now.
That's ridiculous. Even Wolves dying on the other side here. FoCuS not paying attention. That's more experience going to 1-0, which you can't let happen.
He did kill a Fiend, though, so that was a good exchange there. But I would still say this early game, better for 1-0. That one Fiend kill brings FoCuS back into the mix, who's this time going for fast Torrent Totem to have those walkers quickly. That seems to make a lot more sense.
Yeah, for sure. I think just going on autopilot and going for tier 3, perhaps not what you need against this here, but the execution of 1-0 is so impressive. Like, getting a steal with a single Fiend shot was pretty crazy, and now he's well on his way to leveling those heroes perfectly. The Pit Lord entered the game and already started killing a whole bunch of stuff, and now he's very close to level 2 already.
The thing is also that I'm starting to consider more and more here in the theoretical world. Normally, Spirit Link is so good because Undead always tries to focus everything down with Target Fire, Orb of Corruption. But against Cleave, it's not really the case. You're kind of whittling away at everything at the same time. So here Spirit Link might not even be so good in the late stages. But perhaps the most important thing for FoCuS is heal scrolls. He needs heal scrolls really badly. And this time he's going for it as well. I think that was the biggest mistake on map 1 that he didn't have one. Now he picks that one up, gets an Invul Potion as well, and is almost level 3 already with his TC here.
Yeah, he fought before his shadow was out and stuff. There was definitely some mistakes. Like, sometimes you see a build, it's not just so much about the build, but also the whole execution. Oh my god, that Pit Lord is going past the Pit Lord, so every time the Pit Lord connects perfectly onto everything, and because he has 2 claws here, he's just gonna cleave away at this entire army.
Doesn't have the Unholy Frenzy yet. Oh, dodging the Stomp here with the Necromancer, but he doesn't get out the Unholy Frenzy. Again, the Pit Lord here not buffed up at the moment. Should move the Pit Lord into position for the frenzy. Doesn't quite get it. And FoCuS with a good exchange. Takes out the statue. Takes out the Necro as well. But Necro's produced so quickly. The next one is already in. And here we go. And now the cleave is online.
It's very well done by FoCuS to keep running past this Pit Lord, not let it hit everything. And now he gets level 2 plus level 3. This might be a good time to pull back, but he still wants to fight more than this. I guess as long as he's not losing a hero, maybe he's okay.
I think 1-0's targeting could also be a bit better. This Pit Lord has spent a lot of time just walking around and not applying too much damage. This next heal scroll is going to be so huge, by the way. Both need it, basically. Does the cleave work if you attack a unit next to Ethereal Walker? Probably not.
Probably not, yeah. I think, yeah, you're immune to physical damage if you're in ethereal form. You only take damage from magic. But then any of the casters in the necromancers could attack that and do a lot of damage to it. Ooh, that
Saves that fiend. Last second. Gonna get a return kill here. Getting denied. But the expansion now finished. And FoCuS looking better and better in that game. Needs to get that next heal scroll, though.
1-0 saw Raiders and he saw Spirit Walkers, so he knows that his opponent is playing on tier 2. And I think he should be able to realize that there is an expansion. Now the question is, how does he counter that? Does he want to attack? Does he want to just creep and take in his own expo? He's getting more... What? 4 statues without tier 3. What the hell?
Yeah, that seems a bit weird. That looks almost like a macro mistake. 1-0 is known for having more statues than anybody else. But for maybe overdoing it a bit.
By the way, the Pit Lord's name, Destromath. How scary is that?
I'm shaking my boots right now.
Compared to like the TC Dern Harpy Slayer, like this guy's a body guy.
A player's forces are under attack.
FoCuS may have to TP out here. Everything is real hurt. Yeah. Pick up the parry up, which is whatever. But he's got the Expo mining. High income now for FoCuS. He was able to bank up a bit already. Don't think he should be too greedy here. If 1-0 gets to 50 supply, level 3 Pit Lord, and then moves across the map, that could again be scary. So, tier 3 already coming online for FoCuS. That's nice, but I think he should be going into upkeep here really, really soon.
The thought of starting to hit and run probably crossed FoCuS' mind here because he's on at least a few raiders. He's got the 2. But 2 is not that many, and also because he has expansion running for so long and he doesn't want to fortify it, I think it's superior to just say, I'm gonna break upkeep without waiting too long and then just wait him, because all he can do is like come and try to get a fight. And he's right in that. 1-0, no taunt portal. He's got a greater invuln. A decked out Pit Lord here about to pick up another item, which is a circlet. And yeah, that's level 3 perfectly here.
Doesn't summon the skeletons. I thought he was going to use those corpses here for a couple of skellies, but that's the thing. The walkers are now in. The skellies are a lot easier to deal with, and those skeletons against a tier 2 orc army can do quite something. Double heal scroll as well for FoCuS. He seems to be very prepared for this fight. TC running in, stomp hits right away. And the the Pit Lord in the back trying to connect, but really good splits by FoCuS. Look at that.
Yeah.
Splitting his units now excellently to not take too much damage from the cleave. And the Pit Lord is basically the only thing in the Xanad army that's doing serious damage right now.
Yeah, initially at the start of the fight, the split was pretty bad, but then he fixed that very quickly. Torrent Chieftain still working with a lot of mana. He's got illusion available. Statues going down here with some snares and target fire. The Pit Lord's getting some big cleave damage here, but not so much army left over for 1-2-0 with 42 against 59. He's slipping a little bit in macro here, floating a lot of gold right now.
Double heal scrolls were absolutely huge here for FoCuS. He used them already. This is where perhaps things could turn around. But 1-0 already has lost so many units. DK getting targeted next. End snares are going to tell us where the focus is going to be. It's going to be on the DK. Invoke Potion activated. 15 seconds. This was the big one. Can the Pit Lord turn it around? It seems almost impossible. But with the magic of Cleave, Pit Lord trying still.
I mean, everything's low. Oh my god. There's still an invuln on the TC, so he should be able to dodge a coil here if there were to be that threat. Pit Lord is like, team, Can I get some help? You don't need help. I'm crushing everything alone. There should be a next coil, but the DK also in danger here. Oh my god, everything is low.
You get a next heal scroll? No, still on cooldown. Oh, so many kills about to be acquired. Level 4 on the DK. Stomp. Pitlord in trouble now. He might be going down. Coil still on cooldown. Oh, he had the arm up in the air already. But the Pitlord there, not gonna make it out. Pitlord dies, and that should be it. Ensnare flies.
He's gonna kill another Headhunter. Oh my god, that's so sick.
Oh wow, you don't see that every day. But here, 1-0 is gonna call it GG, and FoCuS figures out how to beat the cheese.
Whew, and that was after a pretty bad early mid-game. That skirmish at the marketplace was not really his. Things could have gotten a lot better in the early game for him, but yeah, the difference that walkers make. I thought the same as you, Remo, when I think that, Cleave and Spirit Link, that synergy, is that really favorable? But if you have 2 heal scrolls, that's perfect. Everything gets damage at the same time, everything gets healed up at the same time, and then all of a sudden, you're in the good orange HP range again. Pitlord was stacked, but not as stacked as necessary, and maybe... is he too focused on that Pitlord? He gave away the mercenary camp, for example, because he was jumping from like one claw spot to the next. Is he too obsessed with cleave damage?
Yeah, I think he overestimated the Pitlord there a bit. When he picked up the Pitlord, firstly, he could have been there with the Skelly a couple of seconds faster, which would have made a big difference. If he just takes a Dark Ranger there, that game is looking amazing for him. He cleans up the rest of the camp in the north, he gets the skeletons, and then he can move south, take out the merchant there, and maybe even the enemy natural. He would have been in a great position. But he tried to be flashy again with the Pitlord that doesn't have the same level 1 impact as a Dark Ranger does, especially in this creeping kind of game when you can get the skeletons. But okay, you kept playing the Pitlord. The crucial moment was really that fight in the middle, when FoCuS crept the merchant and then picked up the first heal scroll and chased after the Necros and after the statues right away. If 1-0 had brought in the 2 ghouls from the main right away and positioned a bit better, maybe could have traded better there, maybe could have won the fight and then claimed the second heal scroll, and things could have looked a bit better. So slight improvements could have been made by 1-0 in terms of execution, but especially strategically, I think a Dark Ranger there would have looked a lot better.
All right, we guys got ourselves a series. We're moving on to map 4, and Equals was 1-2-0's pick. It didn't really work that way, so Ballus and FoCuS scored as we move on to his map Autumn Leaves. Of course, it is still match points. 1-2-0 is still 1 map away. Maybe he thinks, okay, that was nice, that was fun. I got myself some fans playing something cheeky here, but it's time to go back to the real strats and take that victory home and secure that second grand final of his at a DreamHack tournament. But FoCuS is fighting, FoCuS is making the right adjustments, and the execution at the end looked pretty good as well. We'll see if he can tie this up and make this a full out best of 5. Let's move on to Autumn Leaves.
Imagine if he does it again. Just Pitlord 3 games in a row. It is super cool. It is super fun if you get to the late game without being behind and you cleave and cleave away. It can be really good, but FoCuS also showed that it can be abused, can be punished before the big 50 supply army is fully online yet. If you work with some ensnares, those early raiders may have made the biggest difference there. Using the ensnare, taking out the statues, taking out the headhunter, the necromancers. That was what really catapulted FoCuS here forward. So yeah, I would also expect a return to normality by 1-2-0, but you never know with this guy.
Absolutely, yeah. FoCuS decision making was really good for sure. Like you mentioned, going for the squishy backline, but also like going for the steal on the wizard on the right hand side. You know, he was probably like, okay, well, that's a potential cross +9 that he could get for himself. So not even gonna take the risk. He stole that, town portaled out. And like I said, like it's a moment where it's always tempting to start hit and running because you're on 2 bases very early. You got a few raiders, but I think his choice was actually better than this. Like he was just like, okay, I can just make units. Like, there's no way you're gonna have more army than me. And then he was on 59 against 50 for a while, and he just had way more gold, used the scrolls perfectly. So he kind of figured out how to play better against this. And now that the strategy's been fully revealed, he's gonna also be on like full notice. So yeah, we should be getting back into a more normalcy here, perhaps.
Yeah, and I think FoCuS should have learned from the first map. Don't just let the DK fully creep up Freddy to level 3. Don't allow him to be full HP, full mana, and level 3 at the beginning of tier 2. Things are gonna start hurting real quick if you do this. He is gonna allow the DK though to fully creep the first camp here without interference. And yeah, movement is gonna be very important here. Trying to slow down the opponent as much as you can, especially if you're the Farseer early on, is what you want to do. And once you have the Headhunters out, then creep level 3 quickly without the DK being able to follow. That is the ideal early game. Which of course also 1-0 knows, so we'll see how both here go about this. Again, level 2 DK is perhaps the biggest level up timing here in this early game, and 1-0 again gonna be given it for free. He's gonna be thankful for that. But FoCuS also creeping up quite quickly.
Yeah, he wants to grab some of these items himself here. Yeah, we had a circlet picked up from 1-0. On the other side is Klaus. And then into Slippers plus Tome of Intel. Life is good. Acolyte looking for a steal here. And yeah, nobody wants to take these gambles anymore. I'll tell you what, when I played Ante in Meisterschaft, I was like, okay, he has one chance in 100 to get the Rock Golem at the Mercamp. Guess what? He stole it with the Acolyte hits, so... These guys are very right in not taking any more chances.
Yeah, that's a proper feels bad. I know that feeling. Slippers here for the DK. I hope that's gonna encourage a Dark Ranger second. Because this Pit Lord, as cool as he is, not quite the most reliable. Farseer took a lot of damage from creeping, by the way. Down to only 250. 1-0 with full mana could kind of bully the Farseer here a bit if he wants.
I think FoCuS knows that usually
A player's force
the undead player will
attack.
focus more on trying to take down some of these Headhunters.
This
Like
movement
they-
was very weird by FoCuS. He ran his Headhunters behind the undead army, so now he's basically exposing them to being blocked and killed off by the DK. This is not the perfect movement that you would like to see, because once the DK has aura, as he does now, these Headhunters can very well die.
Oh, the wolves. He's feeding wolves.
And this time he's not getting the Fiend kill for it. So the west of both worlds. One more hit and a coil. That's gonna be a Headhunter kill. Oh, he's even saving the mana. Look at him. It says, I don't need... Okay, never mind. There we go. Coil comes in, gets the last hit. But behind all of this, expansion is coming, which is not scouted yet.
The surrounds. Farseer gets stuck. That was actually insane here. The movements.
Oh my god.
Fully
look at that
understood that the
read.
Farseer was going to be stuck.
I was about to say, look at that read as he goes over to the natural, but doesn't quite have the read. Nobody really does this, expanding so early on the Orc side. So wonder they're just going to creep up with the Dark Ranger instead. This is the standard, going to pick up a big item here.
Didn't
But
Spiral
Nix-
try this against Happy? On a Tidehunter's or something?
Yeah, I think he did. Something like that, yeah. And it's working, actually. 1-0 with a scouting mistake, not considering this option.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a very long time to get that expo up. As long as he sees it eventually, then he can start reacting however he wants. Like maybe set up a big push towards it or expand himself. Farseer didn't quite get the steal, I believe.
Didn't
And
see it. Who got it?
Mana Stone is so absurdly good to have here.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the absolute best items imaginable. And the second time we see the Ritual Dagger. The ghouls who had to fight against the wolves a little bit earlier slowed down the lumber, so the statue, the slaughterhouse, and with that the statue is a bit late here. And it's starting to get suspicious. The fact that FoCuS is playing so super aggro, it really
Yeah.
feels like he's distracting from something.
He's like, hey, I'm here. In the movie, in Men in Black, Will Smith stepping on the cockroach. That was your cousin, right?
Did you see the new black... Oh, wait a second. Last hit goes to 1-0. Also the item. Quel'Thala's Boots, really good for the Dark Ranger. One Fiend gonna go down here. Probably. Yes, it will.
That's level 3 almost. Two wolves. Fozzy running around with no hit points, but I think he sees the DK and Dark Ranger, and he's feeling very confident. And now that the Expo is already up and running, production can kick into full gear for FoCuS, and he doesn't have to worry so much about upkeep. I mean, not just because he's far away from it, but when he finally gets to 50 supply, he's already gonna have mined so much while having been in low upkeep the whole time. He has double the income right now of his opponents, and he's gonna have it for a very long time here, potentially.
Yeah, it's not looking too bad for FoCuS. This is kind of an unusual state. Normally, it's the orcs always rushing tier 3 first and then maybe expanding. But now FoCuS a little bit behind in levels. You want to have that level 3 far so quickly if you can. But not going to be so easy to acquire this time. TC also not leveled too well, but the big mana potion is helping out. The biggest problem for FoCuS here is he's super low lumber, and he's stuck on tier 2 for a long time. If 1-0 gets out a third hero and good levels, he can even fight 1 base versus 2 for a long time if the orc doesn't get tier 3.
Yeah, which I don't think he will. Or at least most likely not. I think when you get an expansion this early, you're too inclined to just break up keep eventually, get this massive army of 70, 80 against the opponents having 15 to 20 supply less, and then just winning the fights.
1-0 a bit indecisive here. Doesn't want to get creepjack before his tier 3 power spike. Was spending a bit of time here not creeping too much. Now gonna go up for the gold mine at the top. Still has the mana stone, so really good items for 1-0 still. Would love to get another pendant or claws over here from the Taskmaster. As the Lich is gonna come out in a moment as well, and then everything's gonna be online with the Orb of Corruption. But the levels for 1-0 still are gonna be not too amazing. So may want to take some more time. Talisman of Evasion for the DK could be decent, but FoCuS honestly never focuses the DK, so should probably sell it.
Yeah, he might this game. Like in the previous one, it made more sense to go for the statues and necromancers, but in this game, I think perhaps going for the Death Knights would make a lot of sense. If you know that he's far away from level 4, there's no Death Pacts. And Orb and Lich is there. This is pretty bad timing, actually, to get caught here for FoCuS. Perhaps should have been moving in a position to creep a little more. In the bottom right or something.
And the units kind of blocking each other there. That Headhunter gets away.
And he's going tier 3.
On 6 supply.
He broke up keep, plus he's going tier 3, so he's doing both.
Yeah, I like that. Get a big army first, like 60, 65 supply, something like that. And then go tier 3 to have the late game backup as well of the high tech. I think that makes sense. Scroll the Beast. Against walkers, not really the best. We don't have that many walkers, to be fair.
Yeah, I guess priority will be to get the Berserker upgrades and also War Drums, like the Kodo Aura. Kicking in could be very important. And perhaps a third hero eventually, but we're still ways off from that here.
A player's forces are under attack.
And this game, honestly, mostly comes down to the Skelly Scout. 1-0 not checking the natural early into the game. If he had seen this with 2 Fiends and the DK, could have easily cancelled it. But every now and then, you can sneak in an expansion like this, and it can be a win condition if you're lucky enough that the opponent doesn't find it. 1-0 perhaps kicking himself a bit that he wasn't looking for it in the early game.
Well, if you try that against Happy, though, it's likely to end up pretty badly, because he doesn't usually miss this kind of play. You can check the opponent's inventory and then tell what was crept, and then realize, and if there is any chance that the expansion could have been done, I think players like Happy will always scout for it. But 1-0 here, a little bit of an uncharacteristic mistake. Now finds himself in a position where it's 55 supply to 67. There goes the engagement. Death Knight being targeted at the front.
Takes out the Walker right away, trying to make use of that Scroll the Beast. Kodo moves forward, gets off a Devour here. One of them does. Destroyer taken out right away. Ensnare plus Headhunter, super strong against Destroyers. And FoCuS having a really good fight here so far. But it's all about the mana. Once the TC runs out of mana, things are going to get a lot more difficult. DK standing in the back, ready to use those coils, and Berserker upgrade just finished. Now a lot more damage coming out from those Berserkers when they activate their ability, which they just did. Silence on the TC, but he's still protected with an Invul potion. Also Spirit Link could be coming in again. Focus Fire now with the Nova. Invul is going to be needed in a second. And there it is. Coil on the Fiend. 1-0 falling back. He knows the invul is over in a moment. The DK, or rather the TC, needs to be careful. Long range coil, not good enough though.
Yeah, the Fiend was trying to solo the Color Beast at the back to free up another Fiend, but that actually is going to be happening from those heroes here. TC solo, and there's always quite a few cars ready. So FoCuS has done a good job keeping the Torn Chieftain back, as to still have Endurance Aura here in this fight. Can't be quite sending this in here, because that would just get nuked. And he can't afford to lose his Torn Chieftain.
Another destroyer getting morphed. Now that there's no raiders anymore, this destroyer is going to be possibly a lot more survivable. But FoCuS going for a new raider once again. The end snare against the destroyer, very, very important. 1-0 now attacking the expansion, but huge army for FoCuS. 64 supply. Shadowhunter about to join. DK gets level 4, which should be the aura here, I guess. But what he needs is level 3 on the Lich, which is not really too close. Heavy focus fire on this TC though.
Yeah, level 4 right on the corner here for the Farseer. Very important level with Chain Lightning level 2. Death Knight, not full hit points at the front, but he could TP on time if need be, and it's gonna be right now that he needs it. One more Headhunter will be going down, and 1-2-0 gets out with 55 supply against 60 here. Great trades.
Towards the end, absolutely phenomenal trades for him. He killed off like a Kodo Beast and 4 Headhunters, losing nothing except the TP. And the undead heroes are starting to really, you know, catch up some pace here. DK level 4, if the Dark Ranger gets 4 and the Lich level 3, these undead heroes are going to be a menace. And this game is not one for FoCuS yet.
I thought that 1-2-0 might go and creep the corner camps here, the Reds. But I think if he goes for the left-hand side, for example, and then FoCuS goes for the right-hand side one, by the time they meet again, FoCuS will have 80 supplies. So 1-2-0 is reading this game super well. Dude, was that intentional? Little pathway here for the Peons. That's pretty amazing. Yeah, 1-2-0 realized that right now there is not that big a supply difference. And even though he doesn't have a Town Portal, and this might mean, you know, that he's all in or he has to win this fight at any cost, he's willing to take this fight and willing to take the risk. And he's actually right. Like, he's 60 to 61 supply. There is only one more supply for FoCuS.
Heavy targeting on the TC, but he has some really good items to stay alive with. Raiders getting quickly taken out. It's no more ensnares. Now the destroyer is going to be a lot safer. DK getting stomped and targeted. Frost armor coming through. Death Knight going to survive this one. And FoCuS losing a lot of units right here. One destroyer still standing. Hex too late. Coil does come through. Invul potion on the Lich. Invul on the TC as well. Oh, huge stomp coming through. But the DK still lots of mana and health. Hex coming in once again. Dispel 1-0 outplaying FoCuS right now.
Yeah, FoCuS with a bit of miss micro here. He pulled back all of his heroes instead of just the Torn Chieftain, and he's using the salve immediately. One of the storms was really bad as well, just on the DK. He needed to land that on the entire army. 1-2-0 really pacing himself here. Pulling back the DK. It's getting really close. He doesn't have Death Pact, remember, but there's just too much, and FoCuS forced to tap out. 1-2-0 punches